and a very warm welcome to all of you. I'm Meha Bhartwaj-Alter and this is Game On. Tonight we begin with some good news coming from the world of hockey for all our Indian fans. Yes, India have won the Asian Champions Trophy for the 5th time. In what was a tight game against host China, India got the breakthrough in the 4th quarter, in the 51st minute, to be precise, via Jugraj Singh, and India held on to the lead after a few nervous moments to win the final. India were frustrated by a superb defensive showing in the first half by China in the final. After 2 quarters, the scoreboard read 0-0 as India kept probing for that opening goal, while China too had their moments on the counter where Indian defence had to stay alert. After their bronze medal at the Paris Olympics just over a month back, the Indian men's hockey team have continued their fine run of form, have made it to back-to-back Asian Champions Trophy titles. They've won the titles after winning today. This is now 2 titles back-to-back, 5 overall. They'd won the title in Chennai last year. So, once again, India reaffirmed their status as the foremost hockey nation of the continent. That gulf between them and China, the lowest ranked side at this competition, though, didn't really show that much during the game, even though the hosts were content to sit back and defend in numbers. The decisive moment came with 9 minutes to go, and it was a moment of pure quality from start to finish. It began with Harmanpreet Singh going deep into the Chinese side, into the Chinese half, down the left flank. From there, he found Jugraj, who was around the penalty spot. He coolly slotted in for the lead. India had won all their 5 matches in the group stages before prevailing comfortably in the semi-final too. On Monday, India registered a 4-1 win over Korea in the semi-final. Uttam Singh gave India the lead in the first quarter, followed by goals from Harmanpreet Singh and Jarmanpreet Singh. Ji-hoon Yang, he scored the only goal for Korea. So overall, a performance that India and India's coach Craig Fulton will be proud of. There are a few concerns, and I'm sure they will look to iron those out now that this tournament is over. India have won. It's done and dusted. Okay, now we move on from hockey to cricket. The Indian team is all set for the first test match against Bangladesh. Rohit Sharma and his boys are ready to re-embark on an important journey of trying to reach the World Test Championship final with 10 tests remaining. And the first of those 10 tests will begin on the 19th of this month. 10 test matches, out of which India will play 5 at home and 5 they will play in Australia. The upcoming 4 months will test the skills and the fitness of India's best long format cricketers. The last 10 test matches were played over 14 months. The next 10 will be played in 4 months. India have had a camp in Chennai to acclimatize to the conditions. They've had long training sessions to get back into the red ball mode, but we still hadn't heard from the Indian captain Rohit Sharma on how his team has prepared for the series. Today, Rohit addressed the media in his trademark style, talking about what his and the new coach of the Indian team, Gautam Gambhir's plans are for the next 4 months. Rohit spoke about Gautam, saying he knows Gautam really well and that he has worked with different coaches and their different styles, and he knows how to adjust accordingly. Rohit also said the Bangladesh series is not a dress rehearsal for the Australia tour, but that every test that they play is important. On the topic of the playing 11 for the first test match, Rohit has thrown his weight behind KL Rahul. He made it clear that a fit again KL Rahul will be an automatic choice ahead of Sarfaraz Khan in the 2-match series against Bangladesh. This is what he said about KL Rahul, and I quote, "With KL, we know what his caliber is. There are only a handful of cricketers who've had a smooth ride since cricket came into existence. Everyone's had an up and down. The message to KL is clear. We want him to play all matches, and that's what we've done. He's played a great knock in South Africa. He got 80 against England. It is there for us to see that the guy has got talent. It is important we give him the right messages, and hopefully he continues to play well. He is Got the game against spinners and pacers as well, which can help him flourish in tests. Now, India will also make sure that they're not taking Bangladesh lightly. There's already been chatter that has begun with Captain Najmul Hussain Shanto and their pacer Naheed Rana issuing indirect warnings to India. When Rohit was asked about this, he said, and I quote, "See, everyone wants to beat India. Let them have fun." And he said it in Hindi. He said, "Unko maza lene do, sab chahte ki wo India ko haraye." Then he went on to say, "We need to win the match, and that's what we are here for. We can't think about what they have to think and say about us. When England came here, they said a lot of things too, but we didn't focus much on it. Every test match is a big one. We're playing for our country. There's no dress rehearsal happening. Every game is important because of what is at stake, which is the WTC. The table is quite wide open. You want to play every game. You want to win here. Focus on winning the Bangladesh series rather than looking too far ahead. We are resuming after a long time. Nice to have everyone back." Now, I'm sure you remember Rohit addressing the young brigade in the Indian team by saying, "Garden mein nahi ghumne ka." He also spoke about the members of this young brigade, Yashasvi Jaiswal and Dhruv Jurel. He's showered them with praise, saying we don't need to speak too much with them. Jaiswal and Jurel are new, but are very talented. They have everything that is required to play in all three formats. We have to nurture and groom them. When you play this sport, it depends on what they think as well. They are hungry and want to do well. Jaiswal especially had a good series, and Jurel showed what he can do under pressure. You need all kinds of players who are fearless and responsible as well, and we have a mix of everything. Now, this is Team India's second longest break in a while. When was the last time you saw the Indian team resting for over 40 days? Well, I don't remember it. The last time this happened, as I was doing the research, was in 2015, when the Indian team got a break of 44 days. So from 2015 to now 2024, we've not seen this kind of long break for this team. This time, since the end of the ODI series against Sri Lanka, Rohit Sharma and his team haven't had a much needed rest where they've spent time with their families. Now they've got that time. There are some members of the squad who've been playing the Duleep Trophy, but there hasn't been any international cricket for the last 41 days. January 2009, in fact, was the third longest break for the team, which was 40 days. January 2016, also there was a 40-day break for the team, and then in 2017 as well, at the start of the year, they had a break of 40 days. But make no mistake about the fact that this is a much-needed break for this Indian team, because the schedule here is absolutely packed for them. Like I told you, India will play 10 test matches over the next 4 months. 5 test matches will be played at home against Bangladesh and New Zealand, followed by a trip to Australia for the 5-match test series. That's the Border Gavaskar Trophy. In the middle of those red ball games, a few white ball 20Is too are sprinkled for the next few months. But what will be important is how does this Indian team play their first test against a buoyant Bangladesh side fresh from their heroics against Pakistan. Rohit now last played a red ball game in the final test against England in Dharamshala earlier this year, which was in March, whereas Kohli last appeared in the format for India in the New Year test at Cape Town in South Africa. So to get back into playing a test will not be as straightforward, and Rohit Sharma knows it. In the press conference today, he said, and I quote, "It's always tough to come back after a break. Good thing is, a lot of guys are experienced with that. This is not the first time that we haven't played for a long time, which is why it was important to have this camp in Chennai. We came on the 12th and spent some good time here. So yes, it's tough, but people are experienced in the sense that they know now to manage themselves well. And guys who haven't played much tests have played the Duleep Trophy. So in terms of preparation, we are ready for the game." Let's also talk about India's opponents, Bangladesh, who've just beaten Pakistan in a test series earlier this month. The 16-member Bangladesh squad, they arrived in Chennai on Sunday, led by their captain Najmul Hussain Shanto, and they hit the nets on Monday afternoon. Bangladesh may not be the strongest team in red ball format, but they have shown that in subcontinental conditions, they aren't pushovers anymore. They've also been buoyed by the fact that not only did they beat Pakistan, but the manner in which they came back after conceding 448 in the first innings and then being 26 for 6 down, they won the series 2-0. As they come to India now, they will have that single-minded focus of beating a team that they have been desperate to win against, and they couldn't have got better venues than where they will be playing. Chennai and Kanpur have been helpful for the spinners, with the pitches offering slow turn. Bangladesh's biggest strength is their spinners, Shakib, Mehdi, Hassan Miraj and Taijul Islam. They will be itching to get going against India's famed batting lineup. When Bangladesh head coach Chandika Khaturu Singh, he was asked about how they are looking at playing India, he said, and I quote, "We are encouraged by playing the best team in the world, and coming to India and playing against them is the best challenge you get nowadays. Playing against the best always gives you the perception of where you stand, and as sports persons, we always look forward to it." Khaturu Singh was also asked about the test series whitewash of Pakistan and whether that had created pressure of expectations on his side coming into the series against India. This is what he said, that though the victories had boosted the team's confidence, it also knew its strengths and weaknesses. He says, "It's certainly given us a lot of confidence coming into the series, keeping the outcome aside. The way we played the series and the way we handled certain situations like lagging and coming back, and the people who contributed to it all gave us a lot of belief for this series. Pressure of playing against India, it's a privilege. We understand where we stand along with our strengths and our limitations." So finally, we are going to be able to see some test cricket soon, and I can't wait for it. And from Test cricket to Champions League, the Champions League is back. It's gone Swiss with its new format. It's going to be bigger with 36 clubs. The top 8 sides in the league will qualify automatically for the knockout stages, while the teams finishing in 9th to 24th place will compete in the two-legged playoff secure a place in the last 16 of the competitions. Here's the match that everybody's looking forward to. It's the 15-time champions Real Madrid who will open their campaign against VfB Stuttgart. And there is good news for Madrid fans as manager Carlo Ancelotti expects to have several players back from injury ahead of their Champions League opener. Midfielders Jude Bellingham, Aurelien Tchouameni and defender Eder Militao are all set to be available for the match at the Santiago Bernabeu. Despite Militao missing training as he required an extra day to recover fully. Though Real would be without midfielder Eduardo Camavinga and former mainstays Nacho, Joselu and now retired midfielder Toni Kroos, Ancelotti said he was excited to start their title defense with the best player in the world, Kylian Mbappe. Forward Brahim Diaz, he was the latest player to be sidelined in a slew of injuries, and Ancelotti said that this grueling schedule was to be blamed. The Italian, who's won the Champions League 5 times as a manager and twice as a player, said the competition holds a place above all else in his heart. Madrid triumphed over German side Borussia Dortmund in last season's final at Wembley, securing their 6th trophy in 11 years. When asked about Vinicius Jr.'s gestures against Real Sociedad fans, Ancelotti and Vinicius' teammate Dani Carvajal defended the Brazilian, saying he has to take lots of unbearable insults and it's normal for him to react and defend himself.
The problem, and it's out of our hands, is the very demanding calendar. Now a new competition starts. It's a new format, and we don't know how it's going to work. It might be a more entertaining competition than last year's, but the fact at the moment is that we will play 2 more matches in this competition. So if the bodies that rule Don't start thinking that players get injured because they play too much. Then we have a problem. So what I ask is for them to stop and think in reducing the amount of matches to have more attractive competitions. You can see it. And us from inside the pitch, we hear all the insults towards Vinicius. And at the end, when we see wounds, you end up bleeding. So it's normal that he responds to those situations with certain gestures because they won't leave him in peace.
Bayern Munich continued training preparations on the eve of their Champions League opener at home to Dinamo Zagreb. Bayern, who are top of the Bundesliga with 3 league wins from as many matches, start their campaign in the hope of reaching the final to be played in their Allianz Arena in May 2025. Tuesday's game, that is tonight at 12:30 a.m. India time, is also the first Champions League match as a coach for former Belgium international Vincent Kompany, who took over Bayern this season. Bayern trained without their French defender Sacha Boey, who underwent meniscus surgery in his left knee after being injured in training on Sunday. He will be sidelined for several weeks. The other match to look forward to is Liverpool. They will take on AC Milan in the first game of their Champions League campaign. Liverpool will be looking to bounce back in Milan following their defeat against Nottingham Forest, and their manager Arne Slot. This is his first taste of defeat as the boss, which happened on Saturday. His side lost 1-0 to Nottingham Forest in the Premier League. Arne Slot expects a response from his players after their shock home defeat over the weekend. Speaking before their Champions League opener away to AC Milan, Slot said that they should feel disappointed by the defeat. That Tuesday's encounter would be completely a different game for them. Life under Slot for Liverpool had begun with 3 league wins on the trot without conceding, and included a dominant 3-0 victory at Manchester United before losing to Forest on Saturday. Slot has made just one change to his starting lineup across the first 4 games of the new Premier League season, with Ibrahima Konate replacing Jarrell Quansah at halftime in the opening game and keeping his place in the team from then on. Despite loss to Nottingham Forest at home, Slot is upbeat about the game against AC Milan.
Last Saturday, we didn't do as many things good as we did against United, but there were still a few things that went quite well. But it was a total different game, and that's also for tomorrow. I expect a complete different game against Milan, with the type of players they have and the playing style that manager has compared to Nottingham Forest. But we should be disappointed if you lose a home game against Nottingham Forest and you play for and you work for Liverpool. If you're not disappointed, if you drop points in a home game against Nottingham Forest, then something is wrong. And what I think about the format,
sometimes nobody asks the players what they think about adding more games. So maybe our opinion doesn't matter, but everybody knows what we think about that, having more games. Everybody is tired of that, but we have to bring those kind of things on side and stay focused on the big challenge that we have here tomorrow. And if we have a chance, let's see what we're gonna do on the pitch. A lot have changed from the last years from us. We didn't play the Champions League last season, and we are all looking forward to that, to be back to the Champions League, and we're gonna do our best to try to win.
Well, Alison Becker, they're slamming UEFA for increasing the number of matches, and that players are not considered when UEFA are planning to expand this Champions League. And in fact, they're also talking about the World Cup, the next World Cup, where they'll be expanding that as well, and some of these teams will be playing. It has been now over to another big story, which is Manchester City. Now, it has been a long wait, but the independent hearing into Manchester City's alleged 115 breaches of Premier League financial regulations began on Monday in what British media are describing as the sports trial of the century. A three-person commission will sit through reams of evidence for an estimated 10 weeks, with a verdict expected sometime before the end of the current season. City, who won the English title a record 4 times in succession, were referred to an independent commission in February 2023 with the various charges dating from 2009 to 2018. They had always denied any wrongdoing. City have won 8 Premier League titles, 1 Champions League, 3 FA Cups, 6 League Cups, the UEFA Super Cup and the FIFA Club World Cup since being bought by Sheikh Mansour's Abu Dhabi United Group in 2008. On Monday, British media widely reported that the hearing was taking place at the International Dispute Resolution Centre, a series of buildings in central London. Okay. Without Cristiano Ronaldo, Al Naser of Saudi Arabia, they drew with Al Sota of Iraq 1-1 in the first ever game in the revamped and rebranded AFC Champions League Elite yesterday. Ronaldo could not travel with the team. The Riyadh-based club said that the Portugal superstar had a viral infection. The 5 UEFA Champions League title winner is yet to win a major trophy with Al Nassr. Al Nassr took the lead through defender Sultan Al Khanam in the 14th minute before the hosts hit back through Mohamed Daoud 9 minutes later. The match thereafter witnessed attacks and counterattacks, but none of the teams could break the deadlock. Asia's Continental Championship has undergone a significant overhaul for the new season, with the opening phase reduced from 40 to 24 clubs and teams facing off in the Swiss League format. The top 8 finishers in the 12-team leagues in East and West Asia will progress to March's knockout rounds, with the quarterfinals, semi-finals and finals all to be played in Saudi Arabia in April and May. Well, that's it then on this edition of Game On. Hope you enjoyed it. Goodbye. Thanks for watching.
In the heart of New York, an Indian spectacle unfolds. Step into the world of the elite saga, featuring influential Indians who've rocked the globe. From culinary geniuses
this has been nothing less than a dream,
to the wisdom of sages.
And which is why success can never be spelt without you.
Discover the stories behind the stars. Experience the magic behind the scenes. At the first Indian event at the Statue of Liberty. Watch the Elite Saga streaming only on News 9 Plus. Download now.
Why is the state looking at putting an embargo on that?
As a Telangana person, I will not accept.
How do ordinary folks deal with this?
Pass. We'll put new gloves